Hello, and welcome to episode 42 of Moms with Yarn. My name is Sharon, known as Bronx Knitter One on Ravelry and Bronx Knitter on Instagram. Today is Monday, May 2nd, and this is my second day of recording because the first video never uploaded. It said there was a problem, so that means I had a dry run. So hopefully I'll get this video right. So I'm going to get to the knitting part because that's what this is about. I had waiting room activity at the doctor's office, so I took some simple projects with me to sit and wait. And so I made 3 preemie caps. This one is mystery yarn. The yarn was gifted to me, but the yarn must have been in a window and the sun burned the label completely blank. So this is some kind of bamboo yarn. And the hat I made with a US size 4. And it's a little bit stiff. I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm going to turn it in anyway. The second hat is Panda Superwash, Bamboo and Merino. And the last one is Pagewood Farms. These 2 hats were made with a US size 2. You could see the size difference. So those were my 3 finished objects for the week. My goal was to make 20 preemie caps, and I made 17 or 18 of them. They're in my Della Q koi bag, which is misshapen because the hats go all the way up to here. So 20 hats. Maybe next year I'll make 30, who knows. The other thing is that I still had some appointments and I was still in the waiting room, but hats can get boring after a little while. But before I tell you what I was working on, the preemie hats are a free pattern on Ravelry. It's the Basic Baby Hat by Heather Tucker. Yeah. Okay. So the next thing I was working on was I was watching With These Hands podcast with Juanita, and she's making the virus shawl. And she said she made 16 of them. And I saw some of them that she showed on her podcast, and oh my God, they're so beautiful. And she made them with gradient yarns. I happen to have some gradient yarn, but I don't know how I feel about crochet. So I took the vodka lemonade sweater. I'm still taking it apart. I'm still using it for stuff. I took it apart, and this is Maple Leaf Farms 100% BFL in the Boot Camp 2 colorway that I got from Rhinebeck quite a few years back. And this is what I got so far. I'm just starting. It's an easy to do pattern. It's a free pattern. But let me make something clear. The pattern is up twice. One of them is by someone named Orchidee, and I believe her pattern is not free. But the pattern by Woolpedia is also up. When you click on the free pattern, it takes you to another website. That website has the chart for this pattern there for free. And on YouTube, if you type in virus shawl, you'll see a video that she takes you through step by step. And it's 4 videos, and she counts each stitch with you. But if you do, once you do it once, it's pretty easy. It's intuitive kind of. Because once you get to the first repeat, all the rest of the repeats are exactly the same. So this is how far I've gotten. And I don't mind crochet as long as it's shells, because I really like shells. And I love how this is coming out. And I don't have anything that matches this shawl, but I will. And I don't know if I'm going to keep it, but I might. I'll have to see how it turns out when it's done. But this is the dismantled yarn, which I did not wash before I started using, because this was just going to be like a sample just to see if I even liked doing the pattern. And I do. It's very lovely. I would do it again with the Knit Picks Chroma that I have 2 skeins of. maybe I would pick one of them because the pattern, because it's crochet, the pattern size is adjustable. So that's number 2 project. And number 3 is a project that I had completely forgotten about. But before I move on, the crochet hook I used for this is US 6 or G. Okay. So here's a project I had forgotten about. It is the Typhoon Shawl by Josh Ricks. Josh Ricks had a shawl along, and when I got the pattern, I thought he mentioned to me that they were having a shawl along, but I think it was going to be like over in a week, and I didn't think there was any way I was going to be finished, and I was right because I know myself. I am using a US size 5 needle, and I'm starting the edging. So, bad podcaster. I should have podcasted before I got that far. But this is the right side up. And this is kind of like what it looks like. That's the wrong side. This is the right side. Okay, so the black is Cascade Heritage Sock, and the multicolored yarn is Mustache Yarns in the Candy Crush colorway. It's squishy, it's soft, it's garter stitch, it uses short rows, and it is gorgeous. And I made a mistake up here at the first part. You can see my pattern goes this way, and the rest of them go this way. I don't care. Nobody's going to see that little bit up at my neck, especially when they're going to be so surrounded by all of this gorgeousness that's going to be the rest of the shawl. So I'm working on the edging now, and I should be finished this by the next time I podcast. Yeah. It's important to know which is the front and which is the back when you first get started, so that you don't make the same mistake that I made, even though it's a small one. You know, it's not enough. It wasn't enough of an error for me to think about tearing it back or starting over. And I wish I could untangle this mess. I can't. And this is in my Clementine Originals bag, and she has a store on Etsy. So that's going back in here. And in case I don't think you can get this anymore, Candy Crush. I don't think she makes it anymore. But this is the Cascade Heritage Sock, and this is the Candy Crush, which doesn't seem to be attached to anything because I'm done with it. I'm only doing the edging with the black. So that takes care of that. And my last piece of business is the Tour de Fleece warm-up. So everybody knows that if you haven't spun in a while, or if you spin rarely and you want to join into the Tour de Fleece, you can get shin splints and backache and neck ache, and it keeps you from spinning optimally. So everybody knows you need to warm up. Just like with any kind of regular exercise, you need to warm up first. So I have made a thread in the room for the Tour de Fleece warm-up, and it's for both knitters and spinners. So it's the dates are May 3rd, which is tomorrow, through May 25th. And for the spinners, because it is a challenge, you need to spin more than 4 ounces. Now you can spin 6, you can spin 5, you can spin 8, whatever you're most comfortable with. And you need to have, you know, 2 braids if you can do them. It doesn't matter if you really finish or not, because if you're not sufficiently warmed up, maybe we'll do this again in June so that you are sufficiently warmed up when it comes time for the Tour de Fleece. So the Tour de Fleece warm up is not just for spinners, it's for knitters also. And your challenge is to knit up 1,000 yards. I know it sounds like a lot, but 3 pairs of socks in 4 weeks, or a shawl that uses 1,000 yards, or whatever else you can think of. I don't know that you would want to do them 100 yards at a time, like say 900 pot holders, but come up with something so that you can use 1,000 yards. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you finish. So there will be prizes. I have to pick them out. And I think I have chosen my 2. I don't think I did. I know I did. So this one is Sunset Fibers. It is 100% BFL. And it does not have a colorway. It was part of a club I had joined, and it came in a bag, but it didn't come in a baggie, so it's been sitting in my cabinet, hence the fuzziness that's there. So it's got to come out of stash. It's pretty, I love it, but it's got to go. The second yarn I chose came from Fiber Space the last time I visited my family there, and it is Yarn Rescue Fiber Arts, and this is what it is. And it is kettle dyed Polworth top, 100% Polworth, and it says the colorway is Secret, and it says it's 4 to 4.3 ounces. Now, I haven't spun since I don't know when. Most of the spinning that I did do was on my drop spindle. I got new spindles at New England Fiber Festival where I missed Claire. And so I have some plying to do. I need to clean my bobbins. I need to wipe down my wheel. I'm going to do that as soon as I get finished going over this, as soon as I get finished recording. But I'm so excited. So my question to you all, spinners and knitters, if you want to have a Tour de Fleece thread where you can post your spinning or your knitting for the whole of the Tour de Fleece, that is, just let me know. I also had a question about whether or not this warm-up coincided with Lala from the Knit Girls Stash Dash. I do know that in the past, Stash Dash spinning counts towards your yardage. So you can double dip because I don't care. It makes no difference to me. And but if you're interested in having a thread open for the Tour de Fleece, just let me know in the episode thread and we'll take it from there. So, and that's it. And I have to go now because it's getting dark outside and it's getting darker in here. And I have nothing else to share. I'm still working on my cowl. I'm still working on a couple of other things, but I'll have them when I come back in 2 weeks. So go over to the thread in Ravelry and start posting the pictures of the fiber or the fiber you plan to spin or the knitting that, you know, the yarn you plan to use for the knitting, and we'll get started. It starts tomorrow. Now, I work all day, so I'll be spinning in the evenings. Not this evening, but tomorrow. And I hope to see progress. I hope you guys join in. And until then, I will see you in 2 weeks. Enjoy your evening. And don't forget, Mother's Day is May 8th. Get your mom a nice card. See you then. Bye.